Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Nostalgia Test Podcast. I'm Dan Dissinger here in LA. I'm here with my co-host and longtime friend Manny Coelho in New York. Manny, how are you on this fine evening in New York?
How am I on this fine evening? This is a late episode. We're not trying to say exact time, so because when you're listening to this, it's the whatever time you decided to click.
That's
so
right.
Welcome to the Nostalgia Test. And if this is your first time, thank you for coming. We want to remind you to like and subscribe. What is the Nostalgia Test? Since you're here, I'm going to let you know. The Nostalgia Test is where Dan and I put our pop culture past to the test. What does that mean? We decide whether it stays nostalgic, where we know we used to like it as kids, it makes us feel good, and whether it passes means, do we still like it now? Is it still good enough? Does it hold up? Whatever you want to call it, it's called the Nostalgia Test. And we decide whether it just stays nostalgic or it continues on and makes us feel great and still good enough to be played, listened to, whatever. We go from puzzle toys like Rubik's Cubes. We go from TV show commercials, movies, comedy albums, music singles, one-hit wonders, anything that you could think of. We actually want you to know. So sign up for that email list. Give us a suggestion on a pop culture past that we haven't even brought up. There might be a category that we're not even thinking about. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to check out the Chips episode because that was an awesome one.
Yeah, don't forget to check out that Chips episode. But also, if you like this podcast and you enjoy what you're hearing, subscribe to the podcast. You can go right to the website, nostalgiatest.com, hit subscribe. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the Nostalgia Test Podcast. Join the email list so you can get alerts when new episodes drop and when you know when Manny and I are going to go and do another IG Live. We do an IG Live 15-minute Nostalgia Test Podcast episode around basically every 2 weeks. We'll get an alert when we're doing it and what the next topic is. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nostalgia Test and on Twitter at Nostalgia Test. Boom. Do it.
You know what? Share it with your friends and make sure they like and subscribe. That's the only way we're going to stay here. It's the only way justifying why we sit here for hours putting things to the test. All right. We're here for you. Got it. Edit point it is. That's the beep. You got to put the beep in on that one.
Yeah.
We're here for the but all right, guys, this is it. We're doing a movie. This was a suggested test, right, Dan?
Oh. This was a test suggested by one of our very first listeners. Shout out to Sharon Brennan. Thank you for this suggestion. And, hopefully you're listening. We'd love to hear your feedback after you hear the episode. But we're doing the 1998 American romantic comedy film, The Wedding Singer, directed by Frank Coraci, written by Tim Herlihy. Sorry, Tim. And starring Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, and Kristen Taylor. It tells the story of a wedding singer who falls in love with a waitress. The film was later adapted to a stage musical of the same name, debuting on Broadway in April 2006 and closing on New Year's Eve that same year. Oh boy. John Lovitz would reprise his role as Jimmy Moore in the episode of the same name of the Goldbergs. So there we go. That's a little bit of info right away before we even get into this. But The Wedding Singer, Manny, 1998.
Yeah. Oh, Dan. What do they consider this thing?
Romantic
What
comedy.
Is this thing? Okay. It definitely is a romantic comedy, rom-com, if you will.
Yeah.
Of course, we got the heavy hitters, the rom-com duo of the 90s.
God.
We got Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Now, before we get into this movie, because I don't even know if I have much to say about this movie. That's how much, Dan. Okay. Oh. I want to know your thoughts about these two actors. Okay. Separately? I do like them as, well, no, together. Listen, 50 First Dates I remember. We could put that to the test
Yeah,
too.
never saw
50th
it.
First Best. I actually thought it was pretty good. Now, first of all, yeah, I guess, yeah, we're not going to get into the movie at this moment. I'm taking a pause and we're going to go to a tangent right away. We're going to the actors' tangents. Okay.
Tangent.
And that's a nostalgia test tangent. What do you feel about, first of all, Adam Sandler? How do you feel about this man?
You know, I am confused, I think, at this point. Do you know what I mean?
About him?
About, like, because I've seen pretty much, I think, not every Adam Sandler movie, but the ones that were like part of my childhood, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Little Nicky, Big Daddy, you know, The Water Boy, which I don't know about that one anymore either. You know, so on and so on. And I like them. I think I think and thought, and he's funny, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, every time I rewatch an Adam Sandler film, I get more and more kind of confused about what it is I'm watching. Maybe what is like? Do you know? I don't know if you've seen Billy Madison lately, and this is not the episode on Billy Madison, but I don't know if you've seen that movie lately.
No.
We might have to do that.
Well, yeah.
It is. I don't know.
I mean, Adam Sandler defined the 90s, in my opinion. I will tell you this. The funny thing, I'm going to mention Matt again, got me into Adam Sandler through his album, the comedy album. The one when he plays a goat. Remember when he's playing the goat? He's like, hey, goat, and took him to the roller coaster. Yeah. And like, they're all going to laugh at you.
Yes.
I enjoyed the stupid comedy album. Now, it's funny that you say this about how you feel when you watch his movies. I don't particularly love Adam Sandler, but I will sit through a movie. And sometimes I'm going, you know what? This is a fine movie.
Right.
And then other times I'm going, why is this guy so popular?
Yeah.
Why is he so accepted to be as one of the most like best? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how I feel. Like, I don't want to say it's a sham, because it's not. There's no way he's making how successful he's been if this just has been that bad. But I don't understand. I guess this is what I have to say. Great for him that he is basically playing himself, the same character in every single movie, most of them.
Yeah.
And just, he has a production company. And he's a really nice guy, man. It seems like. Maybe he's a dick. I don't know. It seems like he has, like, if you were around his circle of friends, you have been hooked up a lot by this man. Like, I met Dante at a Staff Fest that we did a beer for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was there. Really cool guy. Like, dude, that guy's career was thanked by, he's got to thank Adam. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is that it's likable about this guy. Maybe because it is slapstick, because you kind of know what you're getting with Adam Sandler.
You know what you're getting with Adam Sandler, but I think, and a part of me was thinking this now, well, as I was thinking about The Wedding Singer as well, and going, what if I changed the soundtrack to these movies, right? Like, what if I went into all of his movies, right? The one, like, and changed the soundtrack, meaning, like, because let's be honest, The Wedding Singer has quite possibly one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I mean, the soundtrack is unbelievable.
It's amazing. The Wedding Singer, I mean, we could go back to this movie and get away from Adam for a second. That's fine.
Well, I'm going to say, like, maybe that. Okay, that may lull you into thinking that, like, we're okay with this film. You know how, like you said, like, I don't know why I keep it on if an Adam Sandler movie comes on and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. It's like a lulling of like comfortability because maybe the soundtrack's good. And also, it's kind of like watching something that's just mindless, right? It's like mindless. It's like, remember, you know, when the first time we watched like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like, shout out to that show.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's no logic.
We should test that show. That show has nothing. I don't know what's going on in that show.
But it's like an Adam Sandler film. But
you can't eat carpet. You gotta boil it.
It ain't carpet, it's Berba. But I
What
just
is
like,
that show?
but I just think like it just doesn't. I don't know. Like I'm thinking if we go back and we like dive into Adam Sandler, I think we're gonna find a lot of things that we're just like, this is what? Because like I like Happy Gilmore, or I think I do. If I
I
go
like
back
Happy Gilmore,
and maybe that's the best one.
but that's a different movie. That's not a Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is like weird when you rewatch it.
I
And
mean,
then
dude, Billy Madison is preteen humor
it's
done by a
yeah.
grown man.
Yeah. Yeah. It totally is. I'm like, yeah, I'm so confused.
And like, the movie Grown Ups, like all his movies are
God.
fine.
Never saw it.
All his movies are fine and have like great people in it.
That's the thing too. Everybody in these movies are really, really good.
Successful.
Like
they're all successful
actors.
Yes. I'm saying he either surrounds himself or has made being in his orbit is a very good thing for you.
Yes. Dude, it seems like the same guy has written almost all of his movies.
Dude, he cracked the code.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what it is, but he cracked the code. I do like him in
Wow.
did you see the recent movie that he did? Gems?
No.
Dude. Whoa. That was a strange movie. And he was good. Like he was serious in it. He's had some serious movies. So
yeah.
And I don't even we went on this tangent. And that's a nostalgia test tangent. I'm not even getting to Drew Barrymore, but let's just say this is one of the women with, and then soon after it was like in the 2000s it was Jennifer Aniston, and now he's doing a lot of like Netflix couple things with her. So either goes with Drew Barrymore, maybe there's something happened, they no longer have done anything, and then he got Jennifer Aniston. Maybe because Jennifer Aniston's like popularity got better than Drew Barrymore's. Like, I don't really like Drew Barrymore again is another person who just like plays herself in a movie.
Oh my God. In this one, I have so many questions about her accent. I have questions.
I don't know
where this town is. It's gotta be Long Island or upstate or Westchester. I'm so confused.
It's definitely probably a New York area. I mean, he's from New York, right? He's from
like
Long Island.
On Wall Street. He's like the guy Glenn works on Wall Street. Captain Miami Vice.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into this. Let's get into it. We're finally in the. I mean, I don't even know how long this has been, but we're not even into this movie. Okay. So first I want to say this about The Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer is a meta movie because we're testing a movie that was made in 1998. That was about the 80s. Right. So we're nostalgia testing a movie that was nostalgic in itself.
Right.
Meta. Okay. Yeah. Now, when I first think about this movie, I was like, yes. Why? Because first of all, it's about a wedding singer. In the 2000s, there wasn't that much like wedding bands going on anymore. It was really DJ. So this is good to see when it came out. Hey, we're going to do about like what it was like to be a wedding singer in the 80s, And what was great because then you knew he's going to be singing some awesome 80s music.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to agree with you right off the bat. The music in this is phenomenal.
Yeah. Phenomenal music. I mean, that in itself is just good. I mean,
every scene, there's a reference in either the dialogue, the outfits they were wearing, where things are positioned, how people's hair is, all reference to the 80s. Like this was like funny. I thought it was funny because like some of the stuff you're watching, you're like, what the fuck are they wearing? And you're like, would they actually be wearing this in the 80s at that moment? Or is this just like an exaggerated version of everything? Or was it like that? Like his friend, the limo driver, is wearing a Michael Jackson Thriller costume.
Oh my God.
Not for Halloween, like wearing it.
Yeah. And what's her, and Drew Barrymore now, is that her sister or her friend that she's like living with?
That looks like Madonna and Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's her sister or her friend. I don't know.
No, it's her friend.
It's her friend.
It's her friend.
She looks like Madonna, but like a really weird cliche Madonna. right? Like, and it's just like, I guess people really went out like that. I'm pretty sure. The other guy is dressed like he's from Miami Vice. Like,
He loves Miami Vice.
loves it. In fact, he loves it so much he's blasting the theme song in the DeLorean when he picks up Drew Barrymore.
And that's another thing, DeLorean. Dude's driving a DeLorean. That's what I'm saying. Like every scene is an exaggerated version of throwback to the 80s.
Yeah.
Like Adam Sandler purposely put all this in there.
Yeah. I mean, the movie opens up with like a super 80s song, right?
Yes.
And it's funny, like, this is the thing about this film. In all these other Adam Sandler movies, he is purely just Adam Sandler, almost unhinged. In this movie, he's like, I don't know, like holding his breath the whole time. He's like very like, yeah, you know,
dude, I call it whisper acting. And I think I've mentioned it in the past episode when we did Iron Eagle.
Ooh, check that one out.
Whatchamacallit? It's like, I'm not saying that he because he's trying to be serious, so he needed to whisper actor.
Right.
You know, whisper actor.
Yeah. He's trying to be serious while at the same time his singing is just like, the Opie's like, he's just like screaming, like scream singing at people.
When he gets broken up.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Dude, that to me is the one time he was like like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, the Stop Looking at Me Swan yelling, like when he was like, you know, like that was the moment when I'm like, oh, there's Adam Sandler.
Classic.
Other than that, subdued the whole fucking time.
Yeah. Classic
I was almost
Sandler line.
Yeah. So like, I'll have to tell you, I wasn't.
Opening scene.
He was like boring.
Yes, there wasn't enough calm in the rom-com. It was like this weird, unbalanced movie where like the two stars are sleepwalking their way through the script while everyone else around them is like a larger than life cliche of the 80s. And they're just like, hey, is Robbie there? Hi, Julia. All the way to the end when, like, spoilers, he like sings a song on an airplane and he whispers to Drew Barrymore, just to confess that song's about you. Yeah, no doy, bro. Like, it would be weird if the song wasn't about her. Everything's a whisper, but everyone else is insane. It's crazy. Everyone else is crazy. Like the opening scene, he's singing that, I'll spin you right round song, and everyone on the dance. First of all, everyone in this movie is perverted. Okay, like every old person is grabbing someone's butt, staring at someone's, everyone's a pervert, and everyone is attacking Drew Barrymore and like her friend. It's just, and everyone's laughing it off, like, and it's just like go about their day.
Did you see the opening scene has the scene of that? You remember when we did the episode about Weezer when they did the Happy Days video?
Yeah.
Buddy Holly, right? Did you notice that the guy was dancing like the Fonz?
Yeah.
They took that from they had to have taken that from that.
It
was ridiculous.
It's funny that his friend Dante that gives that kid drinks and gets him drunk. So that's funny. Minors are drunk. Grandma, there's a scene where this grandma is like assaulting the guy, like dancing with his wife. He's grinding on her and she's like grabbing his butt. I'm like, what is happening there? People are taking their clothes off in the middle of the wedding. Like, this is the craziest wedding I've ever seen. And at the same time, like, babies are walking around pantsless. Like,
and then what's his name is like an alcoholic. This is just the first scene when he does this speech and he's like, remember the time we got the prostitutes? And like you see like, the hair in this, the woman's hair,
the bride's hair.
Yeah, the bride's hair.
Oh my god, it was amazing. It was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
It was unbelievable.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like every scene was perfectly 80s.
It was
perfect. It was perfectly like exaggeration of the 80s and probably of the 80s in like Long Island or Westchester.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, this either has to be Westchester or Long Island. It has to be because like everyone that is his friend, they're all either, in my opinion, pretty super Long Island in many ways. Like just what they think is funny and how they speak to one another and what they think is cool. I mean, the one thing that's is uncomfortable about I think every Adam Sandler movie at this point is the jokes that rely on being making fun of people who are gay, fat people, and trans people, right? All the jokes revolve around degrading human beings, and then everything else is like sleepwalk like through romantic discussions. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, when
crazy.
he's the guy who's like supposed to be like Boy George, and he's singing that "Do you really want to
Yeah,
hurt me?" and he doesn't know any other song, so he just like keeps repeating it. That's like the
yeah,
joke, and he's
that's
the
the joke.
backup. Like,
Yeah.
why is he the backup? And why does Adam Sandler need to take so many breaks?
Why is he right? I didn't understand, and I was just like, well, a part of me was just like remembers these scenes like, oh yeah, this is funny. But then from a distance after a while, I'm like, wow, these are the things that we used to laugh at and would think is funny. That's a problem. It's like super problematic because they're all screaming at that character at one point because he gets to take a long break and leave this person like George. They're singing that song, and all of a sudden they come back and they're just screaming, and he's crying, and they're like, "You suck!" Like, oh my god, that's the comedy part of
Yeah,
this rom com,
yeah,
torturing this poor character. Like it was just, uncomfortable.
yeah. So then we we haven't even gotten to any part of this, like what this story really is about, right? Like, so apparently this guy has like a staying contract at this catering hall that Drew Barrymore and her friend Tiffany Madonna,
Debbie Gibson.
whatchamacallit, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany Madonna, like every cliche of 80s,
Oh
like,
God.
you know, they all work there.
I want to go over
So
that.
they know Robbie from work.
Right.
And he's like the contracted wedding singer who really wanted to be a musician and songwriter
Yeah.
at this place. And like you see, he's like a good-hearted dude and whispers a lot and like even helps that old lady who apparently was supposed to be Betty White, was supposed to play her, Rosie.
Yeah.
I like this old lady. This old lady, I think, had competition with
Oh
Betty
yeah.
White.
This lady was also in a few episodes of the Golden Girls. She was like Sophia's friend in the Golden Girls. So like
Of
they
course she
they
was.
already were in competition with one another just on that episode, like in that show, Betty White and her. But like you're right. One thing I want to say about that is like all these halls have contracted wedding singers.
Yeah, I mean, in the 80s, there wasn't really DJs, right? So like, yeah, I guess they were like, you're the singer. So
And
like when these
limo
catering
drivers.
halls and a limo driver. And don't forget it, he was the only limo driver in town.
And he drives his limo normally as a car and smokes in it. Like,
Yeah.
why did you want to get in that limo? Like, no fucking
And
way.
is this his best friend or his brother? What is this guy?
So this guy is his friend, though he's living in the basement of his sister, and the guy from Goodfellas is his brother-in-law.
That's what it is. The guy from Goodfellas is a scary motherfucker, man. He had the best role.
The
Because you're
best.
like, he just shows up and he's like, like when he gets broken up and
Yeah,
he's like, they're like in the kitchen
yeah.
and they're still in the outfits that they're supposed to like get
Oh god.
married in, right?
Hmm.
I was like, this guy looks like he's about to go kill somebody.
Yeah,
But that's because, he was in, and that's
yeah,
half of the joke was like,
yeah.
who is this guy?
Dude,
Like, you know,
amazing when he's like talking to him afterwards about like love will fade, it's okay, and so your sister sometimes she does this exotic dance for me, and then sometimes she'll play with my nipples or whatever, and then he goes, I was like, I said something, I don't know what I said, but I said something, and he walks away. I was like, there's the comedy that I'm needing. Like I need that, or like when
yeah,
he's
no, just random shit that
when
this
he's
guy's
like
saying.
doing the watering the plants and he's like off camera you hear him go, oh, it's got water all over myself. Like this guy's in a tracksuit, he's literally in a tracksuit. Like he should be going to kill someone. You're right. He was in Goodfellas and I think in Godfather 2. I think he had a role in Godfather 2 as well.
That guy has one role.
Oh,
He's like one. He plays one
he's
guy.
just one guy.
He's what they're like. We're just gonna write him in. Like
Oh
that's
my
it.
god. I mean,
All right. So he gets broken up. We don't know why. I guess oh yeah, we do because like they just know each other from high school, and he's done nothing with his life. What the fuck does she do with her life? Is what I want to know.
Exactly. She's a groupie.
What does she do?
Nothing. Nothing. She she puts volume in her hair.
Yeah. And wears like Guns N' Roses t-shirts and shit.
Oh my god, dude, unreal.
Or Van Halen.
The Van Halen shirt.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, I just want to go back one more time to the the opening wedding scene. Her friend goes, Drew Barrymore's like, why is he so nice to you? She's like, oh, I showed him my boobs for half an hour. A half an hour? Like. I want to understand that. That's 30 minutes. Like, so you mean at some moment she's like, here, okay, and then she just stood there. That is the weirdest thing. All the scriptwriter had to say was like, even if we want to put that in there, this like really awkward idea that like this woman was only able to get, be treated nice at work because, like after she showed her boobs to this gross human of a person, that like he. Like, I could be like, oh, I showed him my boobs once at a party. Okay, but a half an hour?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like,
just stood there for half hour.
Just stood there, like, yeah, okay. What do you
like? And then what do you do after like 5 minutes? You're just sitting there.
Just standing there. What is that? It is the weirdest thing.
Oh, like a half hour. I gotta go do something.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I've seen him. We're good. Like,
yeah, cool.
Like, this is getting awkward.
I think after like 2 minutes, if we're not like doing more, like, all right, you could put your shirt back on.
Like, what is he doing? Eating a sandwich? Like, all right, yeah, we still got 15 more minutes. So I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my god!
Did you know that Glenn was originally written with Jim Carrey in mind? Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Jim Carrey. I thought you said Drew Carey.
No, Jim Carrey. But that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't think it would have been. I loved Glenn because that dude looked like somebody who would be into Miami Vice and like super 80s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It would have turned. I think it would have been a different type of like look with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, if it was Jim Carrey, I mean, then you have Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey out like trying to do them each other, and Adam Sandler at some point would be like, because Jim Carrey would have to play like the straight man in some ways, like a very like just a villain that's just reading lines. He wouldn't. And then
like, how would Jim Carrey hold back from overacting like Adam Sandler? It'd be like an overacting like movie.
Oh,
that would be an excellent thing to see both of them in a movie, just like being each other. Imagine they did a face-off.
Oh my
with
God.
Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler. So Adam Sandler has to play Jim Carrey being Adam Sandler, and Jim Carrey has to play.
Oh my God, that would be insane. That's crazy. Dude, okay, so this movie came out in 1998, right? The year before that, Jim Carrey put out Liar Liar, 1997.
Oh, I love that movie.
Guy, 1996.
The pen is blue. The goddamn pen is blue.
Yeah, he did Man on the Moon in 1999.
Wow, now, phenomenal. That's when Jim Carrey changed his acting.
Yeah, but none of these films are like saying like, all right, this is a toned down Jim Carrey. No, they're all like warp speed Jim Carrey. So at some point he's going to have to just go, hey, yeah, Julia, or like, I'm Glenn. Nice to meet you. Let's go get drunk. But like, he's not going to deliver those lines. Like,
no. The dude who played Glenn is perfectly casted for this.
Yeah, he was like the younger version of the guy that was in Happy Gilmore. To Shooter McGavin.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right. He was Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Totally. Oh my God.
He was such a douche.
Oh.
So, anyways, I don't even know what we're talking about. This I didn't think we even had that much to talk about with this movie because I was so absolutely bored.
I think that's what's so funny.
It took so long, and I was just like, dude's a douche. You got broken up with. The scene of him going nuts.
Yeah.
Julia's trying to be nice to him. Then he's nice to Julia for not he's just a nice guy and he's helping her get married. How does she even like this dude? Why does she like this dude? They got nothing in common.
Nothing except that he is anti-materialism, which I feel like is that what the lesson of the movie is? Anti-materialism. Oh, you're talking about Glenn?
I'm talking about Glenn.
Oh, I don't know why she likes Glenn. Because apparently he's gonna grow old into a handsome old man. That's what it seems like. Because she says, like, oh, I know Glenn's gonna be a handsome old man. It's like that. So that's the bar.
I feel like Drew Barrymore took this character into the other movie she was in called Never Been Kissed. It was like I don't know what her character was in this movie.
I didn't either. I did not understand.
How is she missing all the signs?
What I want to know is, she said she moved there. Where was she living prior to this, and what the fuck was she doing?
And what is Glenn seeing her?
Nothing. That
So why is
he does say in the club scene, which that scene's ridiculous, that he trusts her or whatever because she was with him before he had all his money.
That's it.
That's it. That's why he's marrying.
But yet he loves to fuck other women.
Yeah, he's a douche. And his friend is like the worst actor on the planet.
Oh my God, that dude.
Yeah. What was that guy?
I don't know.
What was that? Yeah, so I don't know why she likes Glenn. I don't understand it. At the same time, I don't know, what her motivation is to even be there in this town, except to move closer to her mom or closer to, I don't know why she's there. Closer to Glenn? But she's not even living with Glenn.
No.
Everyone, if you could just see Manny's face, he's like literally just staring into
because I'm looking I'm looking at clips of the movie.
Yeah. Don't bother.
And I'm just going because I'm trying to relive it again. Yeah. I watched the movie again 2 days ago. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know why I like this movie. I don't even know if I want to continue talking about how this movie goes. Guys, all that really happens is they spend time together. He's helping her taste cake. He's helping her do all these things. They're doing cute things. They do that montage where cute things are happening and how they both not know that they like each other.
I am baffled that it took them that long to think that they liked each other because literally in the beginning of the film, when she goes, he's outside with the kid vomiting. The funniest thing is she comes outside and she goes, "Oh, you're the wedding singer." No shit. You just saw him singing.
Yeah. What? That's the first time they ever met each other. That's bullshit because then the next time it's oh, what are you going to do? You don't have work. You're not going to do any more weddings after he can't do weddings. He does bar mitzvahs there. So it's not like that's the first fucking time he's been there.
No, they've known each other. It's what is she talking about? And also that wedding that he gets punched in the face with, which we have to talk about that scene. But he ends up in a dumpster. But I don't know how he gets there. He didn't get thrown into the dumpster because.
Well, that's cut and move.
Well, I know, but it's ridiculous because he's laying in garbage.
Can we just talk about the red outfits that they're wearing?
What is that?
The red everywhere in that wedding.
That
was a terrible. What is that? First of all, the second wedding is the catalog. In the catalog where you go to get tuxes for your prom, and you're looking and you see all these colors, and you're nobody buys these fucking colors. Why are they even here? They chose those colors for this whole movie.
Yeah,
this is colors they used to buy, and what the red was. So intense, Dan.
And the white, that the father's wearing an all white tuxedo.
Oh my God.
Now I'll say this, when I was a kid, my uncle, when he got married, I was a ring bearer with my brother. We had to wear all white jacket, white pants, white shoes and a tuxedo or a suit that had tails in the back.
Oh yeah.
The ones with the tails, all white. Now, since then, never wore all white like that ever again.
Yeah.
There's no, and when I saw that scene, I was baffled by the colors, baffled by the color choices. It was out of hand. And the fact that what's funny is it seems like at these weddings that all the guests also are oh, I guess I'm wearing these colors too. because a lot of the
Yeah.
guests were wearing.
No,
these
they were
costumes.
all wearing it.
Yeah.
Dude, there was so much matching going on. That's what I like. I don't know.
Like, were we tricked? I feel like sometimes, like when I rewatch some of these movies, and this happened to me in this movie. I felt like when I first saw the movie back in maybe '98 when I saw it or whatever, I felt like I was being tricked into something. Like how I remember enjoying this film like a lot,
No, I remember loving this film.
but rewatching it, I'm confused because like we've watched movies that are 2 hours long, and those were long. This movie was an hour and 36 minutes, and I felt like it took forever to finish. Like forever.
And you know what's crazy is that I thought I was going to really enjoy it because of how nostalgic it is.
Mhm.
Because it is making fun of like, not making fun of it or like just a throwback to that era. But like, I couldn't stand it, dude. And I think I couldn't stand it because of like how not fun it was and how not romantic comedy it was. There was only 10 seconds. All right. So he gets punched. He's doing bar mitzvahs. They joke around about the whole bar mitzvah thing. He's trying to, get this guy. He's obviously a nice dude because he gets that nerdy guy to dance with Julia.
But
The
then
nerdy guy ends up like touching her butt.
he has like fistfuls of her butt and he's squeezing it.
And everybody's laughing.
And Adam Sandler was like, "Hey, just go with it. Just go with it. This is not a good lesson for people." And then the other part is he goes down and grabs a 13-year-old girl out of the audience, starts dancing with her, puts her hands forcibly on his butt.
Yeah.
This is not, and then everyone's getting up. And, I mean, if you're two old people, you want to grab each other's butt, fine. But that kid, it shouldn't be a lesson for people to be like, oh, it's okay to dance like that. That kid's going to get smacked everywhere he goes now. That girl's like, I don't want to touch your butt, Adam Sandler. Why are you doing this to me?
Yes. That girl's got to remember that day that she had to do that as an extra. Like, you're getting paid extra.
These are extras with no lines. Most of it's like, all right, now touch Adam Sandler's ass. Like, don't do that. It's like, please, like, stop. Oh God, dude, that was like uncomfortable.
So you see that this guy's a nice dude, and she's this nice like country girl. It seems like, and then she's like, oh, you should come to my wedding,
my engagement party,
party.
Yeah.
And like his friends, like, why are we going? Like his friend, the limo driver, was one of the smartest out of everybody. He's like, why are we going? Oh, like we know her. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Like, what are we doing this for? Plus, she's been engaged for 2 years. Why is she having an engagement party now?
I don't know. And then like, okay. I need to remind everybody, if you're listening and you have yet to subscribe, please subscribe to the podcast, like, share, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, Twitter, comment, let us know what you would like us to test, and let us know if you agree with all the other tests. We went too fast on this one.
Totally.
I want to pause for a second.
We didn't even get the
before
meatball
that.
lady.
Yes, before that, you see how nice he is. He's giving this meatball lady, the older lady, Rosie, singing lessons because she's going to sing at their 50th anniversary or something with her husband. You never see her husband, right?
Yeah.
But yet she doesn't have money. She lives in a great home.
Beautiful.
But there's no money to pay him.
None.
She pays with meatballs. And then she goes, I don't have anything to give it to you in. So there's no Tupperware in this house. This lady has nothing. So she thinks
no paper
it's
towels.
To, he has to go. She's like, put it in your hand. And he's like, okay, where's the joke in this?
That's what I want to know. What is the joke? What's the joke in that scene? Is the joke she hands him he has meatballs in his hands?
Yes, that's the joke. And like, he's just that nice that he's like, okay, because I'd be like, can I just get the pot and I'll bring back the pot tomorrow?
Or just take the second to eat 2 meatballs.
He basically eats it.
It's not like she makes you sit down to eat a turkey.
She has dementia, bro. She has dementia. Like we're not mentioning this about this woman. She has dementia. They're actually in an old folks home, and he's just like, that's his side gig, is that he takes care of dementia patients because How is he not going, no, I don't need it. I don't need him. I don't need it. Or like, you know what? I'll have some of this meatball. No, instead he allows this woman to put sauce and a meatball on both hands. Not one hand, both hands.
How hot do you think they were?
She's standing, yeah. And they're not that hot because he's like, no. Like, and that to me is annoying because I'm big on food being hot. Like if it's a salad, it's gotta be cold, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't like lukewarm food that used to be hot.
We had this conversation.
Right. I know. I'm bringing it up. I know.
No,
I'm bringing it up
go,
again.
because I'm going to add to it.
Okay. This motherfucker gets this thing, cold or lukewarm that was for him to be okay. And then she's like, eat it so I could see you be so excited. I'm like, first of all, it's creepy as fuck. You want to watch me eat this meatball to see how excited I am on how delicious it is?
Yeah.
This guy does it.
Yeah.
He does it.
That was a good meatball. That's a good meatball.
It's a good meatball. It's a good meatball.
Just get a plate. If you're going to eat 2 meatballs, we're talking 2 meatballs, people.
That's it.
You could sit there for 2 seconds. Where are you going?
2 minutes.
Wait, was he going to go get married after that?
I think he
had
a
wedding that day?
It was.
So he had time to go.
During his wedding, he had to go. He had to go deal with the dementia patient for a moment.
If they didn't show later in the movie her actually singing this song to her husband, I would be on board.
It needed to be in there.
This woman,
but there's a reason why that was in there, obviously, because it was the 50th, growing old, with somebody.
And then you had to have the, we'll get to it. I think we have to save what that scene, the scene of this movie.
Yeah.
2 meatballs, give me a break. But back to lukewarm for a second, dude. It's the same thing.
And that's a nostalgia test tangent.
Because lukewarm.
If that was real good meatball, that would be scalding hot.
Exactly.
The sauce would be so hot.
Yeah, exactly. And he would burn himself, and then she would burn herself when she put her hands on his hands where the meatballs
were. What was that?
Why is that? She's like,
then she high fives him. I'm like, you just ruined the meatball that he was going to finish on the way home.
Yeah,
okay?
That's like taking $20 if you paid him and then took that $20 and just ripped them in half and just burned them.
Mm-hmm.
His payment is meatballs. You just smash the meatballs in his hand. This is the joke moment.
And she's always wearing a muumuu.
Dude, I don't know. It's like drinking a lukewarm cup of coffee.
Dan?
It's coffee.
Dan.
And it's sort of hot, but it's not cold yet. So it's not iced coffee. It's just there.
I had to buy a thing called Ember. And I never get to charge it. So it's a fucking waste of money, but it's a Bluetooth heater for coffee.
I have something like
that. Dan, lukewarm coffee. The anger that goes through me. It's probably the same thing with you. This is how bad it is with coffee with me. My wife's she gets paranoid now because of how crazy I get about it. I drink it so fast because I cannot have lukewarm coffee.
Oh, it's gross.
And those who believe, you're just being whatever. No. Coffee needs to be almost scalding so that I'm going, and then I'm done. And then I'll fill up another cup of coffee. Lukewarm coffee should be thrown out or put ice cubes to make it iced coffee. It's either iced coffee or hot coffee. There's no thing called lukewarm coffee. Room temperature coffee. Who is drinking room temperature coffee?
Dude,
what maniac is drinking room temperature coffee? You're a maniac. If I watch you and we both are drinking coffee, and I'll give you it because I drink coffee fast, I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 minutes, it's scientifically proven. I've seen it. How long? There's a formula of how fast your coffee will go down in temperature.
Mm.
If I'm seeing you drink that, like my grandmother does it, and I'm going, Grandma, just heat it up again. And she's like, well, it's fine. I'm like, you're drinking. It's even worse when there's milk in it.
Oh, no, I don't even
lukewarm milk coffee?
No.
Even worse.
No, black coffee all the way down. Hot, black coffee. And the thing is this, that's what I expect from my comedies. I need it to be on on fire. If you're gonna do a joke moment, that joke moment better not be lukewarm like two meatballs, and then he goes, "Oh, it's a good meatball," and then he goes and gets married, right? So the next scene, that's a good meatball. So this guy has time to do a piano lesson, eat a meatball in his hand, and then go get married.
But the thing is, Dan, his character development is totally off in this because it's so all over the place because he obviously is a sweet person.
Sure.
They show you he's sweet, but has a fucking screw loose because he goes, I mean, hey, he got dumped on his wedding. Yeah. So he's allowed to do whatever, but goes nuts, goes to sing. We already talked about that wedding, loses his mind.
Yeah.
While singing and does the Adam Sandler, right? Yelling.
He degrades a bunch of people at that wedding. That's another joke moment, I guess. Like the joke moments are, like I said, let's now make fun of this fat guy for eating. Let's make fun of this woman for having sideburns. And let's make fun of an entire table of people and call them all mutants. Which in that table, the comedian Brian Posehn was sitting at the table actually during that scene. But that's where these joke moments are coming in. Meatballs degrade people. The person that's in his band, George, like making a spectacle of him. It's just really weird where they choose to try to make comedic moments while at the same time trying to keep him under wraps or his energy down so low that like we sleepwalk our way through this film. And then Drew Barrymore, we haven't even talked, like I'm so confused by her. And first of all, her haircut confuses me. It looks like an airplane ramp, like coming off. And then she's like, she has a weird accent that when we go back to that moment where she invites him to the engagement party, she goes, I'm having an engagement party in 2 weeks. I would love it if you and Sammy came to the party. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sammy. Where are you?
I don't know.
What is this?
What was she? Was she from was she supposed to be from like Minnesota or something like that?
I don't know where she's supposed to be because she's
because even her outfits don't really they're not that 80s.
They're not.
Her friends is like she's muted and so he's not, right? In outfit wise.
No, his wigs are insane.
But like, yeah. And then like, did you notice that every scene's like the cook when they're in the back of the catering, he's got the relaxed shirt on, like relax. So like, I don't know what they did with her. Like, what 80s character was she supposed to be exaggeration of?
She had combat boots on. That was it. She had boots, like more like black kind of combat boots.
Yeah, she always had them. That's why I'm like,
and a denim jacket.
Her and Glenn had nothing in common.
No. He didn't even look like he liked her. Like he despised her.
No, I thought they were like brother and sister.
Dude, I need to bring this up. If we're talking about Drew Barrymore's outfits, we have to talk about that necklace she was wearing the whole time. What? She was like wearing an amulet that looked like it had like some special powers and it was about to bring back like things from the dead, or that she was like some sort of powerful being where like it was huge. This like onyx
it's like massive. Yeah.
What was that?
And they never like brought up why.
No, they never bring up why. They in passing say Adam Sandler's parents are dead. Like it's like, oh yeah, he's dead. Yeah, his parents are dead. Yeah. Okay. So she's wearing a special amulet. He's an orphan. And these two find this is literally the Mario Brothers movie. I just realized that these two characters are literally like John Leguizamo and Samantha Matheson from Super Mario Brothers. She's wearing a necklace that has like a rock on it or something, and she's an orphan. But like obviously Drew Barrymore is not an orphan, but Adam Sandler is an orphan, just like John Leguizamo, and these two fall in love with each other instantly.
Yes.
And she has this necklace that never comes off. So I feel it's literally Mario Brothers. And the guy from Good Feathers is Mario
Good feathers. I love that you used to say good feathers.
I did?
As
Oh,
like from
Goodfellas.
Animaniacs.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude, all right. So let's
Uh,
let's let's get back into this. Bro, we haven't even like gone to the scenes of like past this, right? So
there are
they
scenes
finally,
after this?
yeah, they finally, we already kind of talked about the engagement party. The dude was wearing a Miami Vice clothing. He's getting made fun of by her friend. You realize that there's nothing really in common with Julia and whatever, but Julia needs help like planning the big wedding. The guy wants to go to Vegas. He says, "No,
Oh my God.
we can get married in here." And now cue Adam Sandler following Drew Barrymore in this montage rom-com like cuteness thing of him helping plan this woman that apparently he just met or finally introduced himself to.
Yeah.
They're going to wedding cake tastings. They're, here comes the cute montage, like I said.
Which this song must be in every montage ever. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard this Hall and Oates song in a montage. Oh, what I want, you got. I mean, it's like they showed nonsense the entire
Nonsense.
time, but it was good because the soundtrack was great.
Yes. I don't even remember the nonsense that was going on. All it does is doesn't it end with them in the house and she's talking about with her best friend about the kiss? Like, oh, what kind of kiss do you want? And the best friend goes, show me. And she's like, you mean you? She's like, no, not me, Robbie. What?
Great idea. Let's you're about to get married. Let's kiss a random dude.
We're all adults. Show me how you want to kiss your fiance.
Yeah.
The day you guys get married to this man that you just called a wedding singer 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Who has meatballs in his hands.
Not make sense. Like just this whole like thing that it's like we're all adults. Yeah. Meaning I'm not doing this. Like you can talk Drew Barrymore's character into pretty much anything in this movie.
And then they go see another wedding singer. Like he could easily if he was a really nice guy, he would just fucking sing at her wedding. But no, they go to see what's his name?
John Lovitz. I mean,
John Lovitz,
the hero of this entire film. I mean, literally, let's just say that him, the guy from Goodfellas, and his friend Sammy are probably
There's one more guy who's the hero of the film.
Who?
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Okay, yeah. Billy Idol definitely, I mean, saved the end of that movie.
Saved it. Like we could just fast forward. The rest of this doesn't. This is just us randomly talking about nonsense. Because the rest of this movie is fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in so out of order, and it doesn't really matter because truly, I would also wait. Let me add to the other.
This movie doesn't need to be said in order. The only movies that we ever really do in order is the ones that we really like. So obviously, everybody knows what this test is going to end like, but we're still going to go on here because
we're
gonna bullshit.
I'm going to say like the other heroes of this film, those two kids, two kids that his nephews, the kid that was dressed up like Freddy Krueger. Like when he says he drew that picture of it.
That's what I'm saying. Every scene had some weird like throwback in it.
That other kid was so funny. He was like, "You're gonna go to a mental." Like his line delivery was on point. Where like Adam Sandler was just like, "Things you could have told me," blah, blah, blah. And then everything's like, "Oh, that's enough energy for today." Everything else will be whispered.
Yeah.
Everything was whispered the entire time. Oh boy.
So they do the scene where like they make him they make the limo driver
God
do a test.
Dude.
And he hits cones.
How many hubcaps fell off this car?
Dude. And they're like, "Oh, let's just test them out. So cute." I'm like, "What? You testing out a limo driver?"
Yeah.
I don't know. And the limo driver's wearing the piano tie. I'm telling you, like, this was all just try to be nostalgic. Nothing needed to make sense in any of this movie. Julia gets drunk. You already know, like, she's jealous of,
I wish the limo driver, I wish it was Ronnie the limo driver.
Oh, yes.
The Mambo.
Mambo. Did you notice that there was a Rubik's Cube reference?
Yes, there
And
was a
she goes,
Rubik's.
nobody's gonna solve this.
Yeah, and she tossed it like, and then I was like, okay.
Yep. I'm telling you, he was just like, okay, this movie doesn't have to say anything. We're just gonna put 80 stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like people are gonna be like, oh, cool.
Did you see
There's
how these houses were
Easter
painted?
eggs. Yeah.
These houses were painted like they came right out of the movie Cool as Ice. I was like, what is fucking happening?
Yes.
What is this shit? And not only
or like Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like Levittown.
It's like Beetlejuice. It's like Levittown. No one knows what Levittown is. Look it up. It's horrifying.
There's two different Levittown. There's one in Texas.
Oh, Levittown, Long Island.
Levittown, Long Island. Look it up. It's the definition of suburban.
But I would say, like, the funny part about that, now that you're telling me that those two were friends, right? Drew Barrymore and her friend. One, whose house is that? Is that, yeah, two, if that's her house, if like they're sharing a house, there's a scene towards the end when Drew Barrymore finally figures out that her last name is going to be Gulia. Like, you've been with this guy for years. How do you not know your name's going to be Julia Gulia? Like, you're so dumb. Like, anyway.
Dude,
like,
I'm telling you, she's like such an airhead in this movie.
But the bedroom she's sitting in is supposed to be her bedroom. It's like a child's bedroom. That's why I was like, are they sisters and they're living in like some parents' household? But it wasn't, which means she has like a weird childhood canopy bed.
But they make enough money as waitresses to own that whole house.
That's another thing. What else is going, like, I don't know. It didn't make sense. It looked like anyone could own a house in this film.
So they get drunk. She gets drunk, obviously, because she's jealous that.
Yeah.
But yes, she tries to have a double date with her friend and
Robbie and
Robbie. And then like her friend finally finds out that Robbie is into her. But
this is supposed to be another joke moment here, where we find out that he's cheating on her, or the Julia Gulia thing too. Like that, I remember from.
I forgot that. Like he comes with the gang of like whatever that is. Oh no, yeah, he talks to her about cheating on her.
He talks to him because she leaves to go throw up after.
Yes.
After her friend weirdly shoves a
fry
what the
in
fuck
Robbie's
was
mouth.
That? What was that? You know who I think is hot? Robbie Hart. And then she takes the French fries. She's like, yeah, don't do that. If someone, like, I don't want anyone like poking a French fry in my face, being like, that's gross. That is gross.
Dude, that whole scene, I thought nothing. This movie sucks.
What was funny is you have like the person that plays Glenn, he's totally disconnected from everything, but it was almost like the actor was disconnected from being in the scene. He was just sitting back and just staring into space, being like, I don't even have to memorize lines. There are no lines in the scene. There's literally like 0 lines. And then he's like, so what's your last name? Gulia. Julia's name is going to be Julia Gulia. That's funny. What? That place's name was Spanky's. Everything was so stupid.
All of it was dude. So guys, if you like Nostalgia Test podcast, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and like.
Follow us on all social media outlets that you can find us and where you can get podcasts: Podbean, Spotify, Apple. My head hurts. My head hurts thinking about how bad it was. You're just trying to rush to get to the point where they realize they love each other.
At some point in the movie, yeah. After the limo test, I'm like, all right. So now the next scene is the end, right?
Yeah. No, of course. She gets drunk. She throws up. You know, he's like, don't throw up in my car. He like picks her up in the most uncomfortable car ever. the fucking DeLorean.
I totally forgot that was his car. When he pulled up in the DeLorean, I was like, okay, that's a better joke than the meatballs.
Yes.
And he's blasting the Miami Vice music. It's just horrible music, first of all.
And she gets drunk for the first time ever.
That's what it seems like.
Realizes that she's in love with Robbie, right? And we skipped the whole part. No, we didn't. Okay.
I'm
He
looking.
gets drunk with he gets no. Yeah. No. No.
Blah 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 blah.
Dan, I'm all over the place because there's a point where he goes to the bar and his friend's there and the old man who's doing the moonwalk with him.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is okay. So she gets drunk at the thing. He finds out that she's cheating, that he cheats on Julia. He realizes he gets upset.
Yeah.
Friend tries to take him home. He says no. She then realizes, oh, you like Julia. He goes back home. He's wasted. Oh no, he goes to the bar, gets wasted at the bar. As he is going home, because Julia's getting married the next day. As he's going home, he sees Glenn with a group that seems like a gang
It's a
of just like women and his friends
in her hometown.
Yeah.
How is he so brazen? He's just like, fuck it, I don't care.
He doesn't care. And then the women like at Robbie's like, you know, you're getting married, but the women don't care. They're just sitting there like, and he's just like, whatever. And then Robbie gets beat up, comes home, sees his ex just there, and then he passes out.
Yeah, but I say there was another joke moment when the old man punches Glenn, and then that's it. When he's like, I used to be stronger.
Oh yeah.
And then
yes, is that You're My Boy Blue? Is that guy?
Oh, you know what? I meant to look that up because like when I was watching, I was like, is that Blue? Oh, there he is. Carmen Philpe. Okay, here we go. He's had quite the career. So let's just go.
Yes, he has.
Let's just go up to 1998 when whatever this is, came out. No, I don't see Old School. Not Old School.
What other movies was he in? Yeah, it was Old School.
He was in a lot of like TV. He was also in.
Yeah, didn't he play a role in Scooby Doo?
He was in Wayne's World, Old Man Withers.
Yeah, he played Old Man Withers in Wayne's World.
Yeah.
He was like when they doing the Scooby Doo ending.
Yes. He was in Beetlejuice. He was in Halloween 4, Walk Like a Man. He was in an episode of Webster.
Oh, I love that movie. Dude, Walk Like a Man with Howie Mandel.
Dude, Howie Mandel.
He's awesome.
He was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was Hobo Jack. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. Escape from New York. He played Bum. I like. You can't get away. You can't just look straight. Then it's just like, it's like Bum. Okay.
Bum. Awesome. That's what role did you play? Bum. Bum 1? No, just Bum.
I was main bum. I was Bum.
Main bum. I was head bum.
Dude, how about that? A CD player cost $700 in 1980s.
That's crazy.
Glenn's like, I bought your CD player. It was $700.
Oh yeah, he's like, I got a CD player, and she's like, you want to play a record? And he's like, no, it plays CDs.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then he's like, I'll hook it up. Why? She doesn't have any CDs. Bring it to your house.
Yeah. Go to Tower Records. See, again, that's another nostalgic, that's a nostalgic joke that he had to put in there. They tried to mash, what about the 80s in one fucking movie?
Yeah.
That had nothing going on for it. Dude, can we just get to the
rapping granny?
The scene where oh god!
I did not think that the wedding singer would be this way. You know what I mean? I actually was like, all right, the wedding singer, and then it's like, what is this movie? It could have been a half-hour television.
I had a discussion with one of my employees, and she's like, she loved this. What?
It could have been like a half-hour.
Could have been a half-hour shorter.
At least
it could have been a half-hour podcast. Okay, we're sitting here bashing. I'm just in shock of how none of this
it didn't matter.
Okay, we gotta take a we gotta wrap it up here. Man. We gotta get control of this plane here. Okay. This episode is sponsored by Lithology Brewing Company out of Farmingdale, New York. It's a nano brewery. Come down. Ingredients: 60% New York ingredients. Edit point. So there's only two. I'm only going to talk about the two next bigger scenes. Like, fuck that. Julia realizes like she made a mistake, that the ex was there and she left. So she's like all upset and she's like, let's just go to Vegas. Glenn, let's just go to Vegas. You want to go? So she's angry at the fact that she thinks that Robbie's back together with her ex. So instead, she's just going to marry Glenn anyway. Stupid. Again, another stupid price. She goes, we're going to go to, Vegas. As that's happening, Robbie goes, he's trying to get her back. Doesn't he go to the wedding first, the anniversary?
He has to go to the anniversary to watch Rapping Granny sing.
So she's singing, and he's realizing he wants to grow old with somebody. Okay. Then he's like, we have to go save her. She's on the way to Vegas.
He doesn't even say that.
He's driving in the limo.
He turns to Sammy, and Sammy goes, I know. I'll get the car. He doesn't even say anything.
Okay. Doesn't say anything. Sammy's like, all right, we're going to drive you to the airport. Now
what?
As he's driving to the airport, he has... this town has everything.
It's got to be...
Okay, so now they're going to the airport. In the airplane, to me, it was like... Well, yeah, in the airport, they had the guy that looked like the guy from Spaceballs.
Yeah, Flock of Seagulls.
Or Flock of Seagulls. Yeah.
Spaceballs. He looked like Barf.
He looked like Barf.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like.
That's what oh my God, that's so funny. Fuck this.
Right. So then somehow, he goes, oh, I don't have money for a first class ticket. But yet the limo driver does. His friend's got money.
His credit, yeah, he charged it.
He charges it, right? He's like, oh, you owe me. It's like, well. And then he gets first class. She's sitting there with Glenn, and she's asking him to get like, oh, can I have the window seat? And Doucheron says no, because he doesn't want to get hit by the cart. He's a douche.
Well, also, she doesn't just demand the window seat. It's just
I thought that's a thing.
Exactly. Just be like, yo, I'm sitting in the window seat. Get the fuck up.
See, I have to do the aisle seat because I have to pee all the time. So I don't have the option to do a window seat because I know I'm going to bother people. So I don't do the window seat.
And Coach looked amazing, didn't it?
Coach looked great. And she was in the front part of Coach, so she had some space. The only bad thing is, like, first of all, why do you leave your elbow out that much?
Who sits like that? Like, everyone, like, I have my elbow jutting out. Like, no one sits on a plane or like that at all.
And then she's like, so there's the joke right there, right?
That's the joke, yeah.
Now we go to Ravi sitting in first class. Somehow everyone's talking to each other. This is what happens in first class. It's like, right? And Billy Idol happens to be going to Vegas.
Drinking a bottle of champagne.
At this moment, at this time. Drinking a bottle of champagne. Being Billy Idol. Now, this is the greatest moment. This is the lifesaver of this movie.
Yeah, this is it. Without this movie is just, I don't know what this movie is.
I don't even...
I thought you froze. I was like, what happened? There's so much silence. All I know is I saw a spiral staircase in first class. I was like, where's that going? I was like, where is that going? And these are the other joke moments. He doesn't know what to do with the hot towel, and he doesn't know the orange juice and champagne are free. And he's like, holy shit. That's the most energy he has in the whole thing. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I can't believe it. This guy's like hitting on me and he wants me to join the Mile High Club. And someone goes, what's the Mile High Club?
Yeah. And Billy Idol's just smiles.
That's terrible.
At that one. Yeah. Oh my God.
Dan, we got to put this episode to an end. Because if you're still hanging on, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know how we're going to test this. And maybe you definitely are. We're just totally wrong on this. I don't know if I am.
I don't think we are. I don't think we've been wrong yet.
I think people want to remember this movie as being good because I wanted to remember it.
But see, what this movie made me think about immediately was like, what other movies that we thought were amazing aren't good. Like I started thinking, like, is Austin Powers really a good movie? Because like that was a cultural
No.
phenomenon. But if I go back and watch it, am I gonna like it? Like I don't know.
don't know.
Just total silence. It's total just like, what is this? So basically, Adam Sandler sings his stupid "I'm growing old with you" song.
You know what? I guess this is why we do this podcast.
Yeah,
Dan, I guess this is why we do this podcast, is to test that, because like I did really want to love this movie. I do recall liking it a lot. I remember, oh my God, it's the 80s, it has all 80s references in it. Oh, look at the Easter eggs. They're everywhere. It was like, Ready Player One, but like
it was
Wedding
more.
Singer.
But the Easter eggs are like shoved down everyone's throat, except for that one where the guy from the Goodfellas.
Oh, there was no Easter eggs because, like, you're right. It wasn't an Easter egg. It was like a straight up egg.
They took
Like,
him
you
to
could just
smash
see
you
it.
in the face.
It wasn't hidden.
Remember, Van Halen broke up. Smash. Like,
Yeah.
okay, got it. I got it. I got it. I get it. But like, it's like he sings that dumb song about growing old with you, which is. Well, let me take that back. It was probably the most heartwarming moment in the movie. It is the heartwarming moment. But he wrote that song in a limo on the way to the airport, and then Billy Idol, who says we let everyone in first class do whatever they want, blah blah blah. He starts singing. He comes out. He sings the song to Julia, and just like Glenn freaks out. But just like when we said in the beginning, he has to whisper to her, "That song is about you, guy." Who would it be about? At this point, you've now, it's going to be an awkward plane ride to Vegas and back with Glenn stuck in the bathroom. And then I don't know what you do. How are they getting back? I have no idea. And then they got married. Steve Buscemi's there.
Someone's getting charges pressed against him.
And then we forgot that rapping granny. That's what this movie was sold on, a rapping old lady.
Yeah, when she's singing the hip hop, the hibbity hop hop, you don't stop. Yeah. I'm like, that was it?
That's what this movie was.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Manny, I think we're done. I can't. I don't know. Julia Gulia, that's a joke. Meatballs, that's a joke. Meatballs in his hand.
This movie, it's not even nostalgic anymore. I don't want to see this movie again.
Yeah, the only thing that's nostalgic about this film is the soundtrack. That's
sure.
It. But the film itself, I think I'm on board with you. I don't want to see this ever again. I didn't feel those nostalgic feelings. I thought there were people in this movie that did a good job, that were like really trying to put this movie on their back and like drag it across the finish line. I will give
Dan, see, this is where I think you're wrong, is that I don't think anyone thought this was a bad movie.
No, people didn't think this was a bad movie, but they should go back and re-examine what they were laughing at. Because I didn't see the jokes that I thought I saw.
Dan, this movie worked back then.
In 1998.
Yes. This movie was making fun of the wedding singer, because back then wedding singers had like basically been disappeared. Yeah. It was a nostalgic movie. And I keep saying it. And I know some of you who listen say I repeat a lot. I do. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Deal with it.
That's what I do. But it was a nostalgic movie in 1998 that was only liked because it was a nostalgic movie. And now I'm testing it. It does a very bad job of being nostalgic.
Yeah. I don't think that I can pass it to the nostalgia test. I don't think it passes the nostalgia test. And then, I mean,
would you say it's as bad as Take Off Your Pants?
See, I don't know if I'm going to go as far as saying that it's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket bad. And the reason maybe is because I had legitimate anger listening to that album. I kind of was just bored with this movie. So I don't know if it's like to a point where I'm like, I hate it. I just think at this point, like, it's boring. So it's like nostalgic in a way that's like boring, and I'm not going to revisit it, but I'm not going to say that it was like as bad as Take Your Pants Off and Jacket.
Okay.
Listen to episode 2, everyone, to understand what we're saying, because Pure
You
hate.
wouldn't understand the comparison to the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket unless you listen to episode 2. So, guess I agree with you that it's not as that bad, but I would rather watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space than this movie again.
On a scale of like nostalgia that I will return to, I would rather watch Killer Clowns. I would rather watch Iron Eagle, things like that. Cocktail, Cocktail. Definitely, would rather watch Cocktail. But I don't want to rewatch this.
No, there's been times when we've done tests and I've actually watched like a movie like 2 or 3 times. Make sure I have the right notes and stuff. I was like, after I watched it the first time, I was like, I'm not. It seems like an eternity.
There wasn't even that many quotes to write down. This was a movie where I had the least amount of notes for.
I'm actually shocked that we went this long with it. Because
yeah.
I wanted to come on and say, Dan, we should have done a 2-episode recording because I only have like 20 minutes to talk about this movie and I'm done.
I think with the confusion of everything, it just made us angry. And I think it was just like, it's just weird. But yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
I have nothing else.
Guys, if you want to see people throw up 80s everywhere, watch this movie.
That's what it is. It's gonna fucking throw up the 80s.
Throw up the 80s in a very boring rom-com.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch 50 First Dates.
Yeah,
if you're going to watch Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore do stuff together, watch 50 First Dates. It's a better movie. And Blended's even a better one than this.
Well,
this is just not.
Problems. I got to see that film, but it's probably got some issues.
Yeah, but it's definitely better. And then the only thing maybe I would agree is that, if you downloaded the soundtrack like list, then you can make a pretty good fucking soundtrack. And then that would be nostalgic and pass the nostalgia test. I almost want to be like, let's do an episode where we just do the soundtrack to The Wedding Singer and test that and be like more happy about life.
And I think right there, that's a good place to end the episode.
All right, guys, don't forget, I'm going to take Dan's part on this one. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please sign up for the email list. We give you a newsletter of when episodes drop. Also, suggest a test. If you want to suggest a test, you go to thenostalgiatest.com. Suggest a test. There's a form right there. We could test anything. Like we said, music, comedy albums, pogs, collections, baseball cards, whatever you want, comic books. We'll put it to the test. And maybe you'll be mentioned. Well, you'll definitely be mentioned, or you might even be put on as a guest.
Ooh.
Right? If you suggest a test, if you subscribe, email, and suggest a test, and share, and like, and comment, you're going to get invited as a guest on our show.
Subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the newsletter, follow us on Instagram at The Nostalgia Test, and on Facebook at The Nostalgia Test, and Twitter at Nostalgia Test. Do all that. Share it. Suggest a test, and maybe you'll be on in this amazing conversation with us.
And this episode was brought to you by Flex Coffee in Farmingdale. Drink Flex to perk you up after watching this boring ass movie.
But make sure it's hot.
Make sure it's fucking hot or cold. Their cold brew coffee is pretty fucking awesome. So
how's their lukewarm coffee?
I don't know because I don't have time to do that because as soon as they give it to me, I take it as a shot. So Flex Coffee. Love the crew at the Flex Coffee.
Well, Manny, there's another one. Everybody, come to the next test. See you soon. Peace.
I'm not saying anything else.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter at Nostalgia Test and on Instagram at The Nostalgia Test. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.